Before I kick this new season off, don't forget that if you want your own build to be showcased as an episode, all you gotta do is just join the Build Talks Discord. Then react to the rules, and you're free to submit your own loadout in its designated build chat. I get all of my video content from build chat, so if you make a submission, there's a damn good chance I'll credit you in a video. But with that out of the way, welcome to Season 2. Shit gets fucking nuts with Arc 3.0. If there is one weapon I literally never thought I would use in a build of any kind, it is 100% Coldheart. See, it was one of 3 exotic duplicates. You know, Wave Splitter, Coldheart, Prometheus Lens, and Bungo legitimately tried to market them as different weapons because they were different colors, even though all 3 of them were just trace rifles that got more powerful the longer you held down the trigger. Anyway, I never thought I'd actually find a reason to use it, but this build is actually a lot of fun to play around with. Thank you, Deadless, for capturing the footage. Thank you, Gridnad, for the submission. Let's take a look at aspects. First up is Lightning Surge. While sliding, activate your charged melee ability to blink forward, calling down lightning strikes that jolt targets as you rematerialize. And it looks a little something like this. It is absurdly fucking powerful. And then we've got Electrostatic Mind. Defeating targets with arc abilities or defeating jolted/blinded targets creates an ionic trace. And that ionic trace will amplify you. Now, amplification does a lot of different things. For starters, it's a generous buff to handling, but it also modifies both melee abilities by adding extra lightning strikes or chains to them. It also does this. Speed Boost is a critical mechanic behind Arc 3.0. You hold W and you do not let go. Embrace the inner crayon. By far my favorite Stormcaller aspect as of right now. A supercharge was never specified though, so I'm just gonna go with ye old reliable, otherwise known as fucking Chaos Reach. Now, fragments. Let's talk about fragments, because these are kind of make it or break it for this. Spark of Beacons. While amplified, your arc special weapon kills create blinding explosions. Spark of Shock. Your arc grenades jolt targets. Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace. And lastly, Spark of Feedback. Taking melee damage briefly increases your outgoing melee damage. All these working together create a pretty nasty fucking combo that I'll elaborate on a bit more in just a few minutes, especially when factoring in exotics, which is something I think we should talk about now. I've already mentioned this once, but just in case you missed it, Coldheart is the weapon of choice here. Reason being is because it periodically creates ionic traces when it's in its high power setting. And that comes from its perk called the Longest Winter. Now, that is going to work hand in hand with Spark of Ions and Beacons. The Catalyst will bump stability up to 90 and reload speed up to 50, but honestly, if you don't have it, it's not the end of the world. You really only want the gun for the ionic traces. Crown of Tempests, on the other hand, is an absolute must-have. None of this is going to function effectively without it. And that's because of Conduction Tines. Conduction Tines exponentially increases ability recharge rate on successful arc ability kills. Stacking on itself 3 times, that is 525% faster than default ability regen. That is grenade, melee, and super. When casting at times 3, it'll slow your super train by 66% as well, provided you're casting Storm Trance. Chaos Reach isn't affected by that, but I don't care and I'm gonna use it anyway because it's fucking Chaos Reach. This is extremely useful for low armor stat builds, and you can become a goddamn force of nature with a 100 stat line. Gridnad recommended specific mods for this build, so let's go over those real quick. First up, we've got Elemental Ordnance, Melee Wellmaker, Elemental Time Dilation, Font of Might, and lastly, Font of Wisdom. Now, I think everybody already knows what all these mods do. Elemental Ordnance and Melee Wellmaker are for generating wells, and Time Dilation is there to extend the timers for Wisdom and Might upon picking up an arc well, while Wisdom and Might dramatically increase both intellect and arc weapon damage, respectively. So one could imagine how this functions on a practical level. This is just an energy circle. Everything funnels into something else, and very rarely are you going to find yourself without any of your abilities. A sliding melee attack is enough to kickstart the process. That lightning surge generates chain lightning that jolts, creating an ionic trace, and that triggers Conduction Tines up to a maximum of 3 stacks, and it creates an elemental well that's going to bolster Coldheart, and that allows you to create ionic traces on a perpetual level, all while dramatically increasing your super cooldown. This is extremely versatile, mandating aggression, all while requiring precision and finesse, and I fucking love it. I haven't had this much fun playing a Warlock since the days of Dire Ahamkara and energy converter. Only one of these mods has an element assigned to it, and that's time dilation. It's also the only mod that can be swapped out without altering the core functionality of this build. If you feel like uptime on wisdom and might isn't really something that you need to worry about, then I would recommend slotting time dilation on your class item. And once you have it unlocked, replacing it with lightning strikes twice, which will make this exponentially more powerful. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that thought where it is though. That's something for a future video. Don't forget that you can post your own loadouts in my build chat. All you gotta do is join my Discord, react to the rules, and then you are free to post as little or as much as you want. Myself and Deadless look at every build that ends up in the chat, and as a result, there is a damn good chance that I'll end up crediting you in a video about your own build. And with that, I welcome everybody back to a new and improved season of Build Talks. And no, I'm not talking about fucking Mantle of Battle Harmony either. Shut up.